So what is your professional background and what is your current professional situation?
I'm a civil engineer and consultant specialized in aging and asset management. So I spent the last 10 years to support energy and transportation manager to secure their long-term performance. It means we define processes, organization, technical strategy, but also information system.
How would you describe the current state of asset management?
I think it's vary a lot. We have some very advanced company, especially in UK, and some are just thinking about it because of new regulation or just because they have to be more competitive in a more competitive world. So I would say everybody is aware about it, but some companies don't know where to start.
What are the challenges facing asset management?
If I have to select 3 challenges, I would say data, people, and uncertainties. People, because asset management it's a huge transformation of the organization, and you need strong leadership and you will need a lot of time to convince everybody to change their way of working. Data, because you need a lot of data, not a lot, but you need data to decide and to build your strategy. And a lot of companies struggle with this data. It depends of company, but it's always a challenge to implement asset management. And the last one is uncertainty, because I think everything changed a lot now, and especially in the energy and transportation sector. So they have to decide now without knowing about tomorrow or with a lot of uncertainties. So it's more, I think it's more difficult than before, because you have to have a long-term view and to decide with long-term perspective, but you don't know what to expect.
What are the challenges nuclear power plants face when it comes to their scheduled outages and turnarounds?
In nuclear industry, you can't manage the same way safety system, basically a nuclear island, and non-safety system, so what we call the balance of plant. So for safety system, it's more about reliability, and you want to prevent any failure. So it's more about surveillance and preventive maintenance. But you cannot optimize your maintenance with only economical view. For non-safety system, you have more possibility, but everything has to be planned 2 years, 3 years, 4 years before. So it's more about have a long-term view of maintenance needs to plan the outage and secure the planning, because the more important thing is secure your planning.
Are there any tools or solutions that are looking to address these challenges?
I think there are many tools for different uses. They use different method, reliability method, life cycle management approach, and to define their strategy, and after they encapsulate their strategy in their EAM, for example. Other companies use aging management tool when for passive component, for example, when they don't have a lot of history, but they want to collect data and identify some trends and to know where to replace, for example, the component. So it's more about aging management tools. And so you have a lot of solution. You can use IoT to collect the data in real time and try to predict maintenance. For new projects, they use digital twin to encapsulate all the data from design to maintenance, operation, and decommissioning. But I think the main challenge is how to organize all this data, how to maintain consistent, and how to ensure consistency during all the life cycle.
In what ways would having a holistic and systemic approach help companies achieve their KPIs, and what are the benefits?
I think with a holistic approach, you can understand all your system performance. So you can optimize at component level without improving your performance at system level. So that's why if you consider all the constraints, all the interaction of your system, you can find the best solution, the best scenarios for all your system. I think it's very important to connect your strategy to reality, because sometimes we try to define a strategy. For example, I want to replace every 5 years this component, but you can do it when you want because of operational constraint, because you have schedule maintenance, you don't have enough resources, or just because you cannot stop two components at the same time because you lose your capacity to meet your business objective. So if you can build your strategy considering all these constraints, I think it's easier to implement the strategy after all.
How do Cosmo Tech solutions help companies put results in the perspective of the customers?
For what I've seen, Cosmo Tech solution in a long-term probabilistic simulation of large volume of asset with a lot of constraint. So it's a lot. So you can really understand how your strategy can influence your business objective or can impact your business objective with real calculation of your KPI, for example, non-distributed electricity. So you can really understand what's happened today, but also in 10 years and 5 years, 20 years, depending of your strategy. Maybe the last thing, it's in a regulated industry, you have to justify you have the good strategy, the right strategy, and you have to propose different scenarios and even and convince your regulator it's the best scenario, even if you have to invest more tomorrow to secure long-term performance and consumer value. So with this kind of solution, it's easier to compare and to justify your strategy.
And what do asset managers and businesses need to do in order to adopt these solutions and embrace the changes of the sector?
It depends of maturity, but I think they have to clean their data. It's always the same. But I think maintenance digitalization is a good opportunity because if you want to collect and convince people, you have to facilitate their day-to-day activity. And if you help them to collect the data during the maintenance, for example, it's easier to secure and to maintain accurate data, and they're happy because you facilitate their work. And I think we have to embed asset management at all level, even strategic but also operational level, because sometimes we can see in some utilities or companies they create asset management department, but asset management it's normally to break silos. So it's not, I think it's not a good way to create a new silos about asset management. You may have asset management owner, for example, a program owner, but you have to share with everybody, and everybody has to take part of asset management. So even technician and expert maintenance, HR, everybody has to know about it and has to understand the benefits and how we have to work together to reach and to meet business objective. So it's more about communication, change management, and And yeah, you really have to break silos, and I think it's a strong challenge.